It's the X-Men versus Magneto, y'all. What more do you need to know? Oh yeah, it's the 51st issue of Tommy Reed's X-Men. Let's get to it. Tommy Reed's X-Men. Tommy Reed's X-Men. It's cool. What's going on? It's your boy back at you again with another Tommy Reed's X-Men. Today, we are looking at X-Men number 51 from December 1968, written by Arnold Drake with art by Warner Roth. This one is called The Devil Had a Daughter. That's a badass title, for reals. When we last left off, Magneto had made his triumphant return to the X-Men comics after thought being dead for a bunch of issues, and it's discovered that Lorna, the lady we met a couple issues ago, Polaris, is actually his daughter. Not his only kid, but we ain't there yet, you know what I'm saying? So the X-Men just naturally assume that Lorna's gonna join her dad, even though he hasn't been in her life or whatever till like literally 10 seconds ago, according to the story. That they're like, oh, well, she's a Magneto. We don't know his last name yet. But, she's gonna stick with Pops over here. And she's like, Angel and Iceman are like, enough of this, okay? Let's just put some hands on Magneto like we always do. And then Scott's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now, we ain't here to fight some big old battle. And then he sucker punches Mags. He's like, we ain't here to fight some, boom, and like punches him right in the mouth. I did not see that coming. Where's this guy been? Like, I'm gonna say that during the issue, trust me, but like, Scott straight up sucker punched Mags. Totally out of character, but totally awesome. Now, a weird thing was after he sucker punched him, he was basically like, yeah, Magneto, you're back, and the only good thing you've ever done is make a hot daughter.
Hell, you're just a bag of bones. Only thing you ever done with your life is make a hot daughter.
So we start getting Magneto as henchman and Mesmero versus the X-Men. Now, Iceman decides to get Lorna to safety because, she's not in this battle, or whatever. She hasn't made her decision who she's going to go with. And a weird thing, which was a theme for the first half of this comic, was he takes the time to tell her she's hot too. Now, he's like, get out of here, Hottie McHot. So if you remember correctly from the older issues of Tommy Reed's X-Men, like in the early days of the X-Men, like maybe the first 24 issues or whatever, they would always have a scene in there where I used to call it a Jean's hot, because no matter what they're doing, they could be fighting a battle, they could be drowning underwater, someone will take the time to tell Jean that they think she's hot. And they're doing that with Polaris. It's weird, uncalled for, like... Now, while he's getting Lorna to safety and complimenting the hell out of her, Beast is like, Bobby, we could sure use your help here in the fight. Now, in the last issue, the henchmen were getting handled easily, but now that they have Magneto's toys to play with, his anti-X-Men stuff that he's built in secret, they're faring much better. Like, they take, shards of stuff and shoot it at Angels, he could barely dodge it, and they put this helmet on Cyclops. They're thinking, A, it's gonna kill him with lack of oxygen, and B, he can't shoot his optic beams if he has this thing on him. But nah, not Scotty Too Hottie. He's like, I'm gonna optic blast right out of here. You know what? Let's take a look at it. So right here, Scott's got this metal contraption on his head, and it's kind of blocking his way to breathe, but he's using that optic blast, and ba-boom! Yeah, he breaks out of that, and it looked awesome. This is awesome artwork. Whoever's drawing Scott, it's got him super muscular now, the Trap King over here. But as you can see, Magneto's fighting him. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Like, he's throwing metal shards at him. Angel's getting hit. And Scott's like, get behind me. And then he starts talking crap to Magneto. Like, was this the best you could do? Come on, Mags. Like, where's this guy been? This radio show's doing him a whole lot of good. Man, that radio show is really helping Cyclops' confidence. Man, that's our dude. Where's this guy been the whole time, right? Am I right? Now, Magneto's like, we need to destroy the X-Men. And Lorna, who's suddenly back in the battle, is like, Papa Mags? And he's like, oh, yes, daughter. Why are we going to destroy the X-Men? He's like, what? Wait, what? What? What do you mean? I'm Magneto, and they're the X-Men. This is our thing. You've read about it in the papers, and even Cyclops or whoever's like, yeah, he's Magneto. This is what we do. This is our Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? This ain't out the ordinary. Maybe for you, because you got transported a bunch of miles and then are suddenly a mutant, and then his daughter, apparently. But, this is, why are you messing up our thing? This is like our thing. Now the battle's going on, and it is epic. Henchmen getting tossed left and right. Magneto shooting stuff at the X-Men, and it is badass. And then Cyclops is like, you know what? We ain't gonna beat him like this. Scotty had a plan, and he enacted it. And he's like, optic blast, and then takes down the cave that Magneto has his lair in, because there's always a lair. And it starts crumbling, so the X-Men try to escape. Magneto is almost crushed under the rubble, but Lorna decides to save him. Now, the weird thing is, the X-Men are describing this because it's happening off-panel. We don't see her save Magneto. We don't see him almost get crushed. They just describe it. Now, I don't know if they were running short on time and they were like, you know what, we can't draw this out. Or what I suspect is that they haven't fully decided what Lorna's power is going to look like. Is it going to be waves or whatever? Or is it going to be like little, optic things or just a beam or whatever? They hadn't decided on that yet, so they can't show it yet. Now, the X-Men who happened to escape from the crumbling layer of Magneto just so happened to find an escape ship, and they're like, oh, let's steal that. So like they did the Avengers thing from a couple issues back. But anyway, they stole the ship, went back to San Francisco. What they did with the ship after that? Back in San Francisco at Hank and Bobby's swinging bachelor pad, they get into an argument, actually, Cyclops and Iceman. So he tells him, Bobby, you're off the mission. Your feelings for Lorna or whatever you got going on, dude, is compromising your ability to help the team. And as if to illustrate his point that Iceman's a hothead and his mind isn't in the game, he gets into a pull-apart brawl with Cyclops. Everybody's picking sides except for Jean, who's like, y'all stupid. What ends up happening is Iceman takes off to go blow off some steam. Cut to a totally unrelated thing. Cut to some dude in the desert who pops up out of nowhere, says, my name's Eric the Red, and I'm calling out Magneto. Now, that was the dude on the cover of the issue, and he got featured in the last panel, but whatever. End of main story. Let's get to the backup. The backup story is another Hank-centric episode, so strap yourselves in, folks, for all the excitement. This one is called The Lure of the Bee Snappers. If you remember from last issue, Hank is some kind of high school football star, and he stops a robbery that is broadcast for some reason on national television. It ended with some dude seems very nefarious, and he was like, oh, I need that guy on my team. Now, that dude, we learned, is named the Conquistador, and his henchman's named Chico. Not Chico Santana from old school WWF, although that would have been awesome. But yeah, just regular old Chico. And he's like, I need that dude on my team, which is what he said already, so I don't know why he needed to say it twice. Hank wins the game after they continued the game after that robbery that was on the middle of the field. Did people think that was the halftime show? Now, Hank, being the humble person that he is, decides to celebrate by, and you know what? He's smart enough to have read the papers and read all this anti-mutant sentiment that's going on in the world. But no, he decides to celebrate very humbly by scaling the scoreboard with his bare hands and feet. And people are like, what? Now, on the way home, the Conquistador tries to nab Hank. For some reason, Hank is still wearing his football uniform, so why are you walking home in cleats? So they decide to try to knock him down with a car. And for some reason, he easily dodges that. But while he's quipping and, trying to be Spider-Man or whatever, they just catch him with a simple-ass net. Now, the Conquistador has Hank. Cut to the X-Mansion where Charles Xavier, Cyclops, Iceman, and Angel? Now, we haven't got Angel's origin story, so at this point, he's already on the team, so I guess they're going to go back and do it later. I don't know why they did it out of order. So weird. Because they were watching that national broadcasters too, apparently, and decided to keep following this guy via, Cerebro or reasons they didn't give it. Conquistador is like, join me or else. And he's like, what you mean or else? Join you doing what? And the Conquistador absentmindedly is like, oh, did I forget to mention I kidnapped your parents? And then Hank's like, my parents! End a backup story. Let me hit you with some final thoughts. All right, y'all. This one was a 9 out of 10. And I'm going to tell you why. It was an action-packed issue. The classic battle versus Magneto versus X-Men. You get the Lorna dynamic. She still hasn't really made her choice, even though she did kind of side with her dad, who she just met and should have no loyalty to. I don't know, whatever. It's a whole thing. But the MVP of this story was Scotty. Scotty Summers, Scotty Too Hottie from KYLD 107. Anyway, he's doing all right, man. He came into his leadership role. He's like stepping up. He was, been hitting the gym, dude was pumped. And he's like acting like the leader that Charles knew he would be. So props to Cyclops on this issue. The backup story was, it was all right as far as Hank's story goes. It's been hit or miss these past 5 issues that we've had to read this. But this one was pretty good. Conquistador doesn't seem like the most flashiest of villains, although I like his sidekick named Chico, and just because Chico's a cool name. Anyway, so this was a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic issue, man. If you like what you're seeing or are mildly entertained, please like and subscribe down here. Hit that bell notification in the corner. I don't know exactly where it's at. And do your boy a solid. Help spread the word about the Tommy Love Stuff channel, YouTube's best kept secret. We got a lot of great stuff on the channel. We have older Tommy Reads Xmen if you want to go back to previous issues. We also have the ChubCon reviews where I take a look at different snacks and give you my honest opinion about them. If this is your first time watching, I appreciate you letting me entertain you for a little bit. And if this is your 50th or 60th time watching, I appreciate the support. Continue to do so. We'll be back again with another Tommy Reads Xmen soon. Until then, like I said, check out what we got going on the channel. Later.